Hello and welcome to Explorers of Elsewhere's Elysia Rising campaign. Hi.
Hi.
Hello. I am DM Dan. I'm joined with my ever loyal cadre of cult followers. Feels like that sometimes, doesn't it? Right? I'm not paying you, and you just keep on turning up. So it's almost like a cult. How are we all doing? We all good?
Good.
Amazing. Welcome back, Meg. Good
Thank
to see you
you.
back.
Good to be back.
We've traded a JC for a Meg. Yes. You've missed out, Meg.
I know.
It has been a bit of a roller coaster in your absence, but I'm sure the very unsubtle re-injection of Freida will absolutely calm things down.
She'll come in like a wrecking ball.
Amazing. When we last left the crew, you were mid-score, and things were going from worst to worser. Worstest.
Worstest?
And yeah, we decided that we just couldn't handle any more unfortunate
emotional damage.
So yes, we're gonna find out what's gonna happen with the conclusion of that score. Who's ready? Meg, are you ready?
Oh, I think so.
Yeah, everyone else?
Do it.
Sure. Ghosts.
Welcome to Elysia, the jewel of the north. On our gilded streets, fortune and fame can be found by anyone.
Hi, I'm Julia, and I'm playing Magpie, an ace of our lurk.
Hi, I'm Nate, and I'm playing Cavern, a dragon-scent slide.
Hi, I'm Meg. I'm playing Freida, a wolfkin cutter.
Hi, I'm JC, and I'll be playing Algernon, an ace of our spider.
Hello, I'm Errol. I am playing Atta, a goblin whisperer.
And my name is DM Dan. I will be the games master on this adventure.
So come on in and marvel at our wonders. Make sure you see the beautiful views we have to offer, and don't mind the ghosts. They're friendly, really. Grab yourselves a seat and make yourselves welcome in the city of Elysia.
Most view war as a brutish and barbaric phenomena, exemplified by painful memories of the war between gods only years ago, which resulted in the cataclysmic event known by some as the Eschaton. The war for the streets of Elysia, by comparison, is subtle and ever-changing. In the power vacuum left by the death of Algarve, the factions jostle and vie with one another, gaining and losing power in their shadowy conflict. Some, however, choose to forgo discretion when it comes to achieving victory over one's foes. An all-out assault with immediately noticeable and tangible consequences is preferable to these people, leading to a predictable response from their enemy, and so on and so on. This intermingling dance of cause and effect ripples across Elysia, accelerating with each passing day, guided by the dancers who know that the dance is soon to come to an end. And so, we find Atta and Magpie in the grand hall of the Ocerus Mausoleum. Both reeling from a series of events that have unfolded in extremely quick succession. Magpie from one end of the hall over the carpet of mushrooms that have been grown and harvested, seemingly in secret, fed by what appears to be the mulched and decomposing remains of Elysia's dead. You see Atta holding a large glass orb that is thrumming with a it pulses with an ever so slight like a faint light that's brighter in the darkened room that you find yourself in, but you can see a number of almost sort of like liquid shapes sloshing around inside in an erratic and chaotic manner. And Atta, we find you clutching this ghost orb, which in a matter of moments after being opened seems to just fill with a half dozen spirits, which their faces pressed against the inside of the glass, in their faces contorted in screams and looks of scared looks. And as you've glanced around, as you've put the Soul Searcher glasses on, you've noticed that the hall, the large kind of space of the hall above you, is filled with motes of light. And you've been able to insinuate that the story of what happens to people that die in Elysia, being carted away so their ghosts can be safely destroyed, is likely a lie. We also flash back to Cavern, who you find yourself staring at the back of the head of the Auran sprite in front of you. The sprite dressed in fine clothing. The sound of of Odamerce's golden chain jingling against itself as he leads you away from Tavarian's crypt, and you are painfully, acutely aware that Tavarian's spirit seems to be lingering around her body's resting spot, and you have not yet managed to obtain it. But first things first, Atta, as you look at the orb and you look up to the mote of light that is Magpie, what do you do?
So the rat catching crate car is loaded with this. There should be compartments where I've taken these bottles out, and I've filled one already with our quota for Umi. Umi? Oh, yeah.
Umi, yes.
Umi. The wonderful Umi. If I remember correctly, Magpie had the earring that spoke to Cavern.
Who's got the other earring? Is it Cavern? I feel like it was Cavern.
Yeah, it might actually have been Cavern.
Because I think you did a little. I found her, I think.
Yeah, we did a little linking up on the mission. So I do have a hotline to Cavern right now.
Okay.
Pretty sure.
Hotline to Hot Boy. Anyway,
Hot Boy and hot water.
Right. I think Atta is going to carefully. Oh gosh. I suppose because Magpie, you've been trying to gather the kind of panicking people
to gather the people and failed spectacularly.
Didn't work.
I tried to channel my booming noble, and it was bad.
Yeah, unfortunately so.
So I think Atta is going to maybe kind of hide the full bottle upon their person immediately, because a single bottle is slightly easier to hide. We don't need the full crates.
Sure.
But kind of push the kind of crates and stuff over to Magpie. And Atta will kind of badly kind of give you the full one. Maybe you head out with this and the crates and try and escape. And
It's really hard to be stealthy when you've got a load of crates. Sorry, I mean I'm sneaky. I'm not magic. Atta.
Oh gosh.
Would it not look better if the rat catcher left with the crates, and I went to get the cavern?
Yeah, sure. I'll load up because I don't want the bottles. I don't want the empty bottles being found either.
As the two of you are sort of like trying to figure out the best course of action, you and the other occupant, like the workers in this main hall, are startled as the front doors to the mausoleum are thrown open and like a corridor of light beams in. Well, you can see light creeping under the sort of like the drape that separates the main hall from sort of like the front doors. But you can hear like a commotion. You can hear the sounds of many footsteps rushing like in, and like light does bloom into the room as the drape is pulled aside, and one of the sort of mercenary guards stands at the opposite end of the hall to you two, and with a look of kind of concern on his face, he declares, we need everyone to stop what they're doing and please follow me. No need to be alarmed, but we do require your urgency. This way, please. This way. And he starts like beckoning the farmers like towards him, and then sort of like spying to you. You two as well. This way. This way.
See, he can do it. No problem. Doesn't have to roll, does he? Okay. So, I think I'm going to stand a better chance of slinking away in the sort of commotion than Atta, I suspect. So I kind of give Atta a little pat on the shoulder and just sort of melt off into shadows.
Okay.
Instead of giving you the full bottle to slink away with, Atta then will swap it for one of the empty ones.
Yeah,
just in case you get a chance.
Yeah, for sure. Okay.
So Magpie, in which case, as there's the like amongst all the commotion of the farmers filtering through the hall, and you hear people looking at one another, asking what on earth's happening, and you notice, like Atta, you notice this guard is kind of beckoning everyone with kind of greater urgency. You're led outside, but the confusion gives you an opportunity to slink away, Magpie. Separately, Cavern, as you're kind of sandwiched between Odelmerce and the little old deer that's been kind of following you around. Lulu, when you hear a number of footsteps running towards your location, and some mercenary guards appear and sort of like they run up to Odelmerce. Odelmerce stops, and you can see his head's tilted. What is it? What is the matter? You hear the sprite say, "Sir, one of the guards begins. Sir, we," and then she stops as she looks at you, Cavern, and Lulu behind you, and like this mercenary kind of leans down and, "We have unexpected visitors," she whispers, but not quietly enough for you not to hear it. And you see Odelmerce's kind of shoulders rise slightly. "Who, pray tell, are our wanted visitors?" And the two mercenaries look at one another, and it's the shield of Elysia. Odelmerce swears very quietly under his breath, and then turns and, "I'm afraid our meeting will have to wait. I will leave you here with Lulu. I'm hoping that this isn't the normal induction experience, but I hope it doesn't shake your resolve in working at this establishment.
Oh,
please.
Of course not. Of course not.
Very good. Please, excuse me. And he nods to Lulu, looks to the mercenaries, and then you see this sprite scurry with pace. And Lulu kind of looks at you and, I wonder why the shield are here. And she, as Odomers disappears around the corner, she stands there and she's got a finger to her bottom lip, and then she, I've got to. Don't move, dear. And she scurries off in the other direction, just kind of leaving you in this corridor on your own. Not more than dozens of meters away from Tavarian's crypt. But Lulu kind of scurries off in the direction of the room where you first met her, sort of like the office type area.
Catherine's gonna go, oh, of course, I'll wait for you here, and then as soon as she's out of sight, I'm bolting it back to the Tavarians.
Okay. In which case, as you kind of beeline back towards Tavarian's crypt, you, Magpie, you kind of come round a corner. You have to duck into a corner as you hear footsteps coming, and you see two mercenaries flanking, who you know to be Odomers Saran, and they appear to be heading to a side exit out into the mausoleum grounds, proper. And you, as they go, you hear one of the mercenaries saying, "Are we? What are you proposing? Do we? Is this an attack?" And Odomers is quiet, but there's a look of anger written, etched across his face. But yeah, they disappear. You're able to scoot on past them, and you find you catch up with Cavern in the corridor, stood outside a crypt.
Something's going on. Did you get the ghost?
I didn't, but I'm going to try again one more time. Is the crypt?
Let's be smart about it.
The crypt door has been locked by Lulu.
Right.
Magpie just immediately gets to work on unlocking the door.
Yeah,
absolutely. I'm going to say that this is a risky standard still.
Okay. My tinker is 2 pips. I am quite stressed, so I think I'm just gonna...
You are using your fine lockpicks?
My fine lockpicks, yeah.
In which case, you can increase your standard to greater.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I've totally forgotten how to play this game. Cool.
Partial success. Okay.
It's partial. 5. Not bad.
So, you pull your lockpicks out and you start furiously trying to unpick the lock on this crypt door, and it unlocks with a because it's effectively it's one of those large turnkey ones, so you've got to get the heavy duties in, but it clonks satisfyingly, and the door swings open. But as the door creaks as it swings swings away from you into the crypt, you hear through the walls a voice from outside bellow, "Odomers!"
Quickly, inside. Come on, Cavern.
And Cavern, you also hearing that voice, you hearing that booming voice, you recognize it as someone who's using low-level divine magic to amplify their voice. They're using thaumaturgy to boost the volume. And it seems whoever these visitors are making a show of things.
Right.
You are now in a desperate position.
Okay. Hey! We love it.
But yes, the gate is swung open. You've now got unfettered access to Tavarian's crypt.
So the shield is part of the faith, right?
Mm. Yeah.
I always think guard when I hear shield, but actually no, is it like the Faith's crack squad or something? Like,
See?
oh, well, we doesn't know. We can't say. All right. We know that they mean business, though.
Yeah. So now the gate's open. What are you doing?
So we are going to duck in and close the door behind us for sure, as quietly as possible. I would like to tell me about this room, because Magpie's not been in this room before. She's most interested in the table that Tavarian's on. Like, can it be hidden behind? And also, what are her exit points, if any?
So you like this iron. It's effectively like an iron gate that's just swung open into what is almost like a 10 by 20 foot room. Like, it's very small and quiet.
Okay.
It is just a little kind of mausoleum crypt room, like stone walls, stone everything. Immediately in front of you, like middle of the room up to the far wall, is a sarcophagus with Tavarian's covered body on it.
And are there drapes around this table? Like, if we were to crouch behind it, would we be visible or no?
For all intents and purposes, the room that you're in, if you take the slab that Tavarian's on, it effectively makes a U shape. So the only places you could reasonably hide are to either side of the iron gates. Like, it's a relatively open room. You wouldn't want to get caught here, for example.
Okay.
Yeah. What's the plan?
Cavern, now feeling the sort of desperation of the situation, and also completely beefing it like twice, is going to go like 3 times a charm, and he's going to use Emergent Divinity to see if he can grab them.
Mind us what that does, Cavern, because you're quite stressed.
Well, it doesn't cost any stress.
Good.
It automatically bypasses the roll. It automatically succeeds in the roll, but it does accumulate 2 heat.
That's fine. That's fine. We'll take the heat.
So, as you are you using the same orb that you've been trying with, or are you taking the one that Magpies come with?
I will try and use the one that I've already got. I don't know whether or not Magpie's got one, so
I've probably told you.
You're like, wait, I've got another one now.
we both get one out, get our orb out. It's like,
Okay, so Cavern, as you try again for the 3rd time, and you sort of like you close your eyes, you focus, and you can you notice as you close your eyes and like your head tilts slightly from side to side, you can almost feel the presence of Tavarian as you can feel this sort of like anguish, this isolation, this loss kind of permeating the room that you're in, and as you focus and your divinity begins to emerge, what does that look like to Magpie?
Again, to Magpie, as she's already seen it before, it's that glowing sort of bright blue that sort of emanates from it, but it probably looks not as violent as it did when she saw it in the keep. It probably looks more calm, it looks more emanating from him, almost like he's using his divinity to guide Tavarian to the bottle.
Sure. Okay. And in which case, as you focus in Magpie, like the room, the room around you begins to light up as Cavern begins to glow. Cavern, as you look up with these kind of blazing white eyes, blazing blue eyes, sorry, you can almost see the outline of Tavarian looking at you with a sense of serenity. And she, her outline begins to fade and vanish. And as you close your eyes and your shoulders slump, and as you open them back and take your breath, as your divinity kind of peters out for a second, you notice that the orb you're holding is slightly cooler to the touch, and there's a mistiness inside it.
I think I got it this time. And he's going to pass the orb to Magpie, and he's going to go like, do what you do best. Keep to the shadows. I'll go back and, not make my activities known.
Are you sure? We
Yes,
have to get
yes.
out of here. Something's happening.
If I'm with Lulu, she'll protect me. I'll be absolutely fine.
Who's Lulu?
Oh.
The old.
We'll talk about her later. We'll
Okay.
talk about her later. She's a gem. She's a gem.
Okay.
Okay. What route is Magpie taking out?
The quickest one. That's also not going to attract attention.
Well, are you gonna kind of go out the front, try and catch the last of the workers as they filter out?
Yes, if that is a way I can sneak out in plain sight, then that would be.
Sure.
But somehow concealing. Maybe I'm great with child. I'm having to work to keep the fires lit for my growing family.
Well, as an aside, you do all know that Algernon is waiting for you on the barge. So if you make it to the eastern edge of the mausoleum, there's a semi-submerged. Well, there's a grate basically out onto the canal.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're able to get to that is your extraction point, unless you want to go off plan and get out a different way.
As long as I don't come across any shield on the way, I will take that route. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
In which case, as you're beelining that way, Cavern, how are you extracting?
I'm gonna go with my interview. I'm gonna go back to where Lulu is, like where Lulu expected me to be waiting. I'm gonna go back and wait for her.
Sure. Okay. In which case,
like slightly like wetting a little bit.
As you find Lulu sort of like in the office, and she appears you notice her like locking everything, and then she turns to you and, oh dear, I completely forgot about you. Take a seat, it'll calm down soon, she says. Magpie, as you make it out, Atta, you've been escorted out of the hall by the mercenaries and the other farmers, and you're kind of in this large group of very confused looking workers. There's chatter amongst them. No one really knows what's going on, but you notice that the mercenaries almost seem to have formed a bit of a pen around you, like keeping the workers all kind of contained in in one group. But you can see that there is a large commotion going on at the gates to the mausoleum grounds. A number of the mercenaries have kind of almost effectively formed a blockade, and beyond them you can see that there's a large cohort of red and yellow tabard wearing shield bearers, and peer, like, you have to squint slightly, but towering over the other shield bearers by a good foot or so is this absolutely monstrous Lorivar.
Uh-oh.
Towering over the other shield bearers. And you notice from the white, like, buzz cut hair, the beard, and like the gleaming gold armor, you're pretty sure that leading this warband is Zahn Martok, the leader of the Shield of Elysia. And your suspicions are confirmed when he starts calling out Odalmer Saran, but his voice is amplified to a booming volume. And you can see, like, his skin is slightly glowing from, like, divine magic. Come out and face me, you rat! His voice bellows out. And as Magpie begins to emerge, you see from a side exit, like side entrance, Odalmer strides out, flanked by these two mercenary guards. And, like, you see, like, the sprite's hands waving, and he's shouting something, but his voice is utterly drowned out by the leader of the Shield of Elysia. And as Magpie, you spot Atta in the crowd of these workers, and you notice that some of the mercenaries have kind of peeled off to see what's happening now that Odelmerce has arrived. Do you take the opportunity to scarper?
Yeah, I'm scuttling.
Yeah. Is there anything you're doing, Atta, before, like, say you've seen Magpie, but is there anything you're doing now that this showdown has begun?
So we're kind of penned in. I kind of want to.
So, yeah, you were almost like kettled,
exit.
but some of the mercenaries, have like peeled away. So the group is still kind of clustered in a bit of a circle, but you're no longer ringed off because these mercenaries want to see what's happening.
Okay, if it feels like I can use some sneaky prowl to get away, then I will without anything. But if I need to, I can cause some kind of distraction.
Release some rats.
It does look like the mercenaries' attentions are kind of all focused on Odelmerce and Zartok.
I feel as if I would want to
Martok,
get to a safe distance and watch, because this is some popcorn-worthy theatre that's going on right now.
In which case, as you the voice is booming enough that even if you start to make your way to the extraction point where Algernon and both are waiting for you, you can still hear the voice. And Cavern, even though you're still in the mausoleum, you can hear you can hear one side of it for sure. But as Odelmerce kind of strides to disappears through his small army of mercenaries, you hear Zahn's voice shouting out, "Odelmerce Oran, you have been found guilty of dealing with spirits and other dangerous apparitions. Your artifacts will bring upon the end of Elysia, and we will not abide it." And Atta, as you slink away, you stop and you start to put the dots together and realise, he's talking about the lightning lure.
Nice.
Oops.
And the two of you kind of duck through the grate, and you see Algernon stood, Roth and Algernon on the barge, and Algernon looks to you and, "This, I don't think this was part of the plan." And Algernon looks to the two of you and, where is Cavern?
I think he's on his induction. He'll catch up with us. Don't worry.
Very well, he says. And with a nod to Roth, Roth sort of pushes the barge off from against the canal wall, and you begin making your way out to the main river and to Poe.
Is this all right with you, Nate? We've just gone.
Yeah.
Okay.
I already said that I was going to stay for my interview.
Call him. Call him on the earring. And see.
Yeah, say I could do a little. What's the name of the boat again?
I don't think we haven't
We
figured that out yet.
need to name the boat.
Boaty Muck Escape Face.
Floating Spectre to Cavern.
How far am I in my interview?
Well, so upsettingly, can't talk tonight. It takes you hear Cavern, you're just kind of. You hear all of these kind of booming accusations from who you assume to be Zahn Martok. He identifies himself and the Shield of Elysia. And you just hear sort of accusation upon accusation, to the point where you know what? You then hear, "If you will not come quietly, sprite, then we will come in for you." And as you wonder what on earth might be happening, you start to hear the sounds of what can only be described as a battle erupt at the gates of the mausoleum.
Cavern.
And Lulu rushes in, bursts into the room, and you weren't planning on going anywhere today, were you, dear?
I don't think I'm going to be... I mean, surely there's an secret escape somewhere? I don't think maybe we can replan this for another time?
Lulu, looks to you in a bit of a panic, and she... I mean, no. No, there's not. So I tell you what we're gonna do. Because the only thing Lulu can tell you is because they're fighting out there, dear. They're fighting. Is find out who is the victor. So the Shield of Elysia are tier 2. Chain Bearers are tier 3.
What's the fight like, though? Who's doing what kind of magic?
Would Odalmers not just go quietly to jail and then use his connections to get out again? Is he going to have a Barney with the shield?
So the Pillars roll a 6. The Faith rolls...
Gosh.
a 4.
Ooh.
Okay, so, Kavrin, you and Lulu are locked up in this office for about an hour. Before the sounds of the sounds of battle die down relatively quickly, within 10 minutes or so. But no one comes to find you. No one finds you for, say, the hour. And the door opens, and a very kind of this wolfkin man with blood streaming down one side of his face and a puffy eye. It's safe to leave now, he says. He grunts to you, and then he just waltzes off. And as you and Lulu make your way out of the mausoleum, you can see that there are a number of mercenaries kind of laying on stretchers, being tended to by presumably medics and hospitaliers. But there are a greater number of Shield of Elysians who are currently bound and gagged in a pile off to the side.
Blimey.
Looking around, you notice that Zahn Martok is not among their number, but it would seem that Odalmers's forces won this battle.
Blimey.
And with the coast clear, you're able to scarper.
Well, it was lovely, Lulu. Lovely to meet you. We'll reconvene at another time, I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. But it's going to take a little while for us to sort this out,
she says, waving her arms a little bit.
You don't worry your lovely little head about it. I'll be in touch soon.
Okay, good. I've got a good feeling about you, Mr. Leech,
she says. And yeah, as you skedaddle off, where are you all reconvening? Spectre?
Yeah, where's the closest place? I guess the Spectre, yeah.
Spectre.
Oh yeah, let's just take a whole bunch of stolen ghosts to the Spectre. That's fine.
Yeah, they love it.
I mean, it may be worth actually going back to Cadwallader Manor.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Okay. In which
take
case...
our ill-gotten gains
yes.
to the pub.
So, you you make your way back across town to Cadwallader Manor. Very good.
Oh, blimey.
Okay, how's best to do this? When you get back to as you're in the Ivory, you head through the districts into the Ivory and towards Cadwallader, and as you as you approach Cadwallader Manor, where do the crew find Freida in the vicinity of Cadwallader Manor?
They find Freida on the front steps of Cadwallader Manor, looking a little bit dishevelled, sort of sat on the front step, hunched over, with her arms crossed across her knees, and just snoring slightly into her arms.
Did Freida get locked out?
Wake her up and find out.
Well, as you've all just stopped and you could see Freida, on the front steps up to Cadwallader, because I imagine it's one of those there's a half, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 large kind of circular steps up to this pillared door that's covered in ivy and dried out ivy and cracks and holes and everything. And Algernon's kind of near the front of the group with Roth. And the two of them stop and look at Freida, and then the two of them look to you three. And Roth says, I'll begin getting these in then, shall I? He says as he offers to take the box off you, Atta, and Algernon, yes, I'll follow you in, Roth. And the two of them kind of disappear off round the sides to the secret entrance, leaving you three by a comatose Freida.
You're right there.
All right, you're back. I've been waiting ages. Where you been?
On a job. Where have you been?
Long story. I forgot my key though. I don't suppose you could let us in, could you? I could really do with a cuppa.
I think we could all do with a couple. We've got just had a very interesting situation just happen.
Yes, you have.
You and I both.
Okay, so as the 4 of you, the 3 of you escort Freida in, we will flashback 1 week.
Ooh.
To the morning after the keep score. So, Freida, you wake up into a world that now views you as a wanted criminal. The stress and anxiety, the sounds of the screams amongst the flames still ring through, between your ears, and they only get louder when you close your eyes. The sight of this blackened figure grasping Algarve around the neck and dragging him, kicking and screaming, into the consuming flames, strong enough to seemingly incinerate solid stone. What did you do as your first downtime activity of your week of recuperation?
So the first thing that Freida did was return to Jocasta's underground fighting den to basically to punch some of the stress away. And while Freida was there, she spoke to Jocasta more about the sort of the young people that Jocasta had seen come through the halls recently.
I will interject and say that when you went down to the pit, specifically to punching people and talk to Jocasta. Jocasta wasn't there.
Oh.
It happens very infrequently, but on this occasion she wasn't actually there.
Okay. Then Freida basically just fought anyone that would fight her until she could fight no more and realised that she just still couldn't quite escape what had happened.
Sure. Okay. In which case, if you're indulging your vice, which I assume is what you're doing,
Oh yes.
please make me a using the dice on the left.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Your stress is 9. If you roll a 0 dice indulge vice, because this is running off your insight.
Oh my gosh. Okay, cool. My stress is 9. How many number of dice is it?
So 0.
Okay.
And it'll roll 2 and take the lowest.
Oh, it will win it. Oh, it's been so long. Oh, 2.
Okay. So you managed to reduce 2 stress in your first kind of bout.
Grand.
Was there anyone in particular, like who was your least battered opponent?
I'd say my least battered opponent was actually a sprite named Jeff.
Ah, yes, Jeff.
That
A proud
well-known
Elysian
sprite name.
His name was Jeff. He was a sprite. He was a Terran sprite, and by the time that Freida got to him, she's already just full, almost like drunk on the violence of it, and was feeling very cocky, and kind of was almost quite condescending towards this gentleman. Really looking down on him, thinking, "Oh, he's just a tiny little wee thing. I can beat the shit out of him, no problem." And yeah, he actually bested poor Freida, really kicked her butt and put her in her place. But afterwards, the two of them got talking, and Freida, without sort of started talking to him about how she'd recently been through something quite extreme, and now her face wasn't welcome in certain places anymore, and yeah, wasn't feeling too hot about things, and didn't know how to, didn't feel like she knew where to go from here.
Okay. In which case, yeah, as you kind of relay some of your woes onto Jeff, I know exactly what you mean. I've felt like that myself sometimes, but I managed to find a way to move past that feeling, that gnawing in my chest, to channel that pain into something better.
I just all feel so hopeless. I just feel like no matter what we do, nothing gets better. It just gets worse.
The Terran sprite looks to you and nods, like bids you like you're lying on the ground, and he bids you stay there. And you watch as he picks up, like there's like a dartboard on a nearby kind of column that rises up to the ceiling, and there are what are effectively like little kind of throwing darts embedded in it. And he plucks one of them out, cuts his palm with the tip of it just to draw a little bit of blood, and then uses the blood to inscribe on a bit of parchment he finds an address. Be here at this address tomorrow, and we'll show you how to move on from this pain. And
What do you mean we?
the sprite hands you the parchment, doesn't respond to your answer. It doesn't answer your question. And turns and leaves as he goes, flinging the dart back into the dartboard. And as it embeds into the dartboard's kind of wooden surface, you see like drips of his blood congealed on its end. And looking at it, it is an address in Saints Hollow.
Right, I guess I'm going to St. Hollow.
Okay. What's your second activity?
Oh, well, pub. But this time, Freida's going to go back to, oh my gosh, where are the places?
So also bear in mind that the crew have not seen you in a week, so it can't realistically be anywhere where someone would have reported your location.
No, I think Freida wants to sort of keep away from people in general.
I mean, the
So
address
she's
on that parchment, it does look to be. I mean, it's Saints Hollow, so like it's as ghetto as can be, but it does look to be like a drinking place.
Yeah, I think Freida does think about going, home to Rookridge, and then sort of walks through that area, and at some point is sort of taken with the idea of just going and just going straight up and finding Caleb and beating the shit out of him just for the sheer satisfaction of it, but doesn't, and continues on and wanders up to Saints Hollow, and then tries to find the just most divey, awful bar that she can find, just somewhere where nobody's gonna speak to her and nobody's gonna bother her while she drinks, and the kind of people who would bother her would probably be looking for a fight, which is also kind of what she wants.
Okay, so is this another Oblivion?
This is another Oblivion. Yeah.
Okay, so you fought yourself into Oblivion.
And I'm gonna drink myself to Oblivion.
Drink yourself into Oblivion. So roll again. So again, 2 dice. Take the lowest.
Indulge twice. Oh, what my stress? 3, 6 now. Oh, 3.
3 stress. Okay.
Whoop.
Okay. You notice that the dive bar you found yourself in, and like the drink itself is like it's not that far off dirty water. Like, it is just the most unprofessionally cobbled together, like we chucked stuff in a jar and it's gone a bit rancid, but it's like the mushrooms have just released a little bit of kick, and like it's a sort of drink where in lieu of making you feel drunk, it just skips you straight to like nausea. So like you feel the grumble in your gut, you feel like your throat feels like it's swelling slightly as you drink this stuff, but it sort of serves a purpose. As you kind of stagger out, I mean, we can jump straight onto your third downtime, or
okay. I think whilst I'm there, then Freida's gonna actually go and have a little sort of word with people around Saints Hollow to basically find out what their like local like fighting rings are like, but not as a. She's not going to go and attend as a fighter. Instead, she just wants to go watch, and then maybe get the like, what's the word? Get the measure of the fighters in this area, and maybe do a little bit of gambling.
Okay. Well, so the people of St. Hollow are not a particularly hospitable group of individuals. There's a lot of stares and like accusatory looks, suspicious looks. One person who looks utterly down on their luck, you find them like in a street corner, like scrunched up for warmth, and it seems like their only possessions are the patchwork coat that they've got wrapped around them and the threadbare trousers that they've got on. Only speaks to you but never opens his eyes, and you can see that their mouth is missing the majority of their teeth. Their skin is sallow. They look like weak. But yeah, there's a place that I go to sometimes. Yeah, it's just down there. Yeah, the Black Oxen. Yeah, and you notice that is the place on the address of the parchment that the Terran Sprite that Jeff gave you.
Oh right, okay.
They've got a little ring hidden in the back. It makes for good viewing.
Right. Thank you very much.
Have you got anything you could give me in exchange for this information?
Can I chuck him like a couple of copper, couple of pence?
Yeah. The man scrabbles for the these bony arms kind of reach out from the coat, grab at the coins that you handed him, and then they just kind of disappear back into the coat. And it's the only time like he opens his eyes to reveal these kind of sunken, bloodshot, like large pupilled eyes. Thank you. He pulls himself back into himself.
Right. Okay. I'm gonna head to the Black Ox. Yeah. I kind of want to get a measure of the kind of people that fight in this part of the city. You know, are they fighting for? Are they fighting for pleasure? Are they fighting for the sort of the thrill and also the physical prowess like in Jacasta's Ring, or are they fighting for desperation?
Sure. Well, like as you head in, it looks like the majority of the other absolute kind of dive bars that you might see around St. Hollow, you know, arguably Rookridge. And sort of like speaking to a few people, like you look around for Jeff but don't see him. Speaking to a few people, you know, you're told that, like quietly through like hushed whispers, that yeah, they're out back, and you're led sort of like through this doorway that's covered over by like almost like a curtain, like a drape, and as you move the drape aside to move in, you find yourself in what appears to be this kind of open, clearly this was like a large kind of warehouse type kind of room, and you know what is the bar out front was like was part of this warehouse thing, but since it's just been turned into this dive bar, but this warehouse area is hot with it's hot. There's a strong stench of sweat and blood in the air, and you see that this gathered group of people are silently watching two combatants in this like makeshift circle in the center of the room. And these two are going hell for leather. Like, you've seen people fighting in the pits, but there's a tactic. There's a modicum of like skill of tactics that they're trying to employ. They're blocking, they're countering, they're feinting, they're riposte. You know, they're trying to outsmart their opponent with their fighting. But these two Lorivar in the ring are just going hell for leather. It's borderline like primal savagery. And what's eerie is that the only sound are the concussive thuds of their fists colliding with one another, and there's no attempt at defense. And the sound of their like heavy, ragged breathing. The audience is otherwise silent.
Ooh, creepy.
And at the back of the room, slightly raised up on like a stage, a mini stage of sorts, is what appears to be a large kind of throne-like chair. And you see there's a figure in shadow watching the fight unfold. And as you scan the room a bit more, you then spot Jeff, who has turned to look at you, expressionless, and then turns back to the fight, just in time for you to hear the sickening sound of bone crunching as one of the combatants' legs snaps, a thud as he collapses to the floor, and his soft whimpering. And the circle of watchers step in, drag the loser out, and the victor moves back into the circle.
I think at watching that, my jaw clenches, and I sort of almost unconsciously ball my fists up and tense myself ready for like a fight, because this isn't what I'm used to.
Sure. Sensing your presence, the circle of watchers turns to look to you, and then they slowly shift and part to give you access to the fighting ring. And Jeff looks to you and tilts his head in.
I sort of involuntary swallow and cautiously step forward.
Okay. The circle closes as you step in, and you look around at a sea of faces that are all you notice that whilst they're all silent, they all have this kind of, you recognize that simmering rage that's clearly being held within them, like barely contained under the surface. And as you look around, wondering who's going to step forward, you hear a shift of the figure in the chair on the dais overwatching it all. You are new to this place. What is your name?
Anya.
And why, Anya, have you come here?
Because I've got nothing left.
You hear, like, the slow, laboured breathing of the figure in the shadow chair slow slightly, and then there's a grunt, and there's groans of pain as this figure pushes himself to a standing position. And the sound of heavy thudding footsteps, a somewhat tall seemingly leather-clad figure emerges out of the shadow, and the circle parts to allow him into the ring with you. And as you look upon him, you're caught by the two glassy orange lenses that peer at you from this figure as it leans heavily on one leg, arms hanging lazily by his side. An iron mask underneath the lenses concealing his face, paired with a black hood and cloak that drapes over the shoulders. You can see there are pipes, there are socket holes across this full body suit the figure wears, interlaced with metal plates, and you notice like metal gloves with fingertips honed to razor sharp points. And as the figure watches you, you hear this almost mechanical wheezing as his shoulders rise and fall with his breath. And if you have nothing left, then this is the right place for you. Because the figure looks to you directly. Everyone that was at the keep that night lost something, didn't they? And I think we'll call it there.
Oh boy.
What did we lose, Dan? Dan!
So,
Dan!
So, yeah, congratulations on completing that little half. Yeah, I'm sure Freida's going to be fine, and everyone's
I'm fine.
going to get on
Made
easy
some new
downtime.
friends.
Everything's
No,
going to be fine.
no big deal. This guy we've seen him in before. He's a really friendly dude. He's
Yeah,
he's
he
interested in the well-being of the community.
he's a problem solver.
What did
It's
you
all
call
Algarve.
him?
It's all a problem.
What did you call him off stream? Budget Darth Vader.
Yes, I'm sure Budget Darth Vader will be a stellar host. But we'll have to see, won't we? If you enjoyed that, make sure to hit the like button and comment down below. And if you want to find out just how much of a benevolent host this individual is, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon for notifications of when we release new episodes, because that happens very infrequently. We won't need to miss out now, won't we? So,
I mean, at least Freida has all her limbs when we meet back up with her in the future.
right?
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
We can't
I mean,
retcon
are
limb
they?
loss.
Are they all her limbs though?
Kill
Are they
you.
all her,
Extra
her
one.
original
Just 3 arms.
born with limbs?
We will have to see. Yes, we've seen Freida, but we don't quite know what state she's in when you lot found her. So, yeah, make sure to tune back to find out. Cool. Thank you for watching. Thank you for playing. See you all next time. Bye.